Hi, everybody. So I was just going to officially welcome everyone to our third Monday Mint. We have reached, since we began, 3,000 people. So if the reach is 3,000, that means it's growing by the week. And people are sharing, people are coming in with their comments, people are listening. And you know what? That's exciting. This is a futuristic conversation. This conversation is an early to the party conversation. So remember that we're all learning. We're learning together. We want to make sure this is a space where everybody feels they can ask any question. There's no dumb question, and learn together. I was also going to mention we have a Discord group for those who are familiar with Discord, so you can jump in to that community where there's questions being answered and conversation continuing after the lives. Also wanted to remind everybody about the PRS NFT membership, and we'll recap that a little bit throughout tonight's mint of how you can get your wallet set up, which is crucial, and then how you can get in on the PRS NFT membership, which we're just so excited about. It continues to expand, and the utilities continue to get more rich and more involved and more cutting edge. What can I say? It's cutting edge stuff. There's a lot of firsts on the table right now, and we're proud as PRS Fest to be among the firsts. So and you're included in that. So yeah, we're gonna move into. Feel free to share this live, by the way, to anybody who you think would want to listen. And I see Legs just tuned in.
What's up, Legs?
Hi. I'm gonna try to keep track of questions from the PRS account. So if we didn't catch you right away, make some more noise so I can see you here in the comments. Okay.
Hey, Bob, I see you. So where do we start, guys? Where do we go? Where are we starting?
I think we want to invite Leg. He landed, which is great.
Hey, comments are off. One of the people said that comments are off, Audrey. So make sure we check that before we start.
Okay. I see comments on my end.
Okay, cool. I see comments too. So I don't know.
Great. Yeah. Let me see. Someone sent me a test question. I see.
I see questions. Let's get the knowledge, please. Yep, we're getting it.
Okay.
So this week in NFTs, guys, let's go.
Perfect. I see more people asking stuff. Hi from PR. Hey, hola, familia, ¿cómo están? Mr. Mo, why don't you jump in to talk to us about what's on the cover of Time magazine? That just popped out this week.
Yes. So this is, I think, a really interesting thing that's happening. So on the cover of Time magazine is a character by the name of Aku, and this is a character that is an NFT, uses NFTs that people can interact with. And this has been about Monday Mints is about understanding this new technology, NFTs, and how we will see this in different segments of markets, of business, of culture, and I think what we want to do is share some of these narratives, and because some of these narratives I think are really great, but it speaks to a generation. NFTs are here, and I think they're here to stay.
Anybody have any questions? Just jump in and ask the questions. So Mr. Mo, Audrey, and I can answer. But keep going, Mr. Mo.
Yeah. So this is really exciting with what's happening with content creators, people coming up with their own creation, their own characters, their own story worlds, and building them on the blockchain and making them available. That's a very exciting thing, because it is. We were speaking before the show that one of the most fascinating things is this is a time for content creators or creators of all kinds. All forms of human expression now be tokenized and made available anywhere around the world. Whoever finds value in your art and your expression, participate with an NFT. And this is I refer to as a renaissance for creatives and artists to use NFT to express themselves, but also to program royalties so that they can receive for the creations that they've put in the marketplace and that they've shared with people. So
and that's in perpetuity, right, Mr. Mo? Like once you put that royalty in it, it's in perpetuity, right?
Yeah. So the idea and concept is when you mint a token or an NFT, you're basically putting the rules to that NFT. And so if you chose to say, well, if someone buys this NFT, they have the right to resell it. But if they resell it, you can participate and make say 10% on every transaction and sale. So that always goes back to the artists and the creators. And this is interesting because this is a technology that allows for artists to be in front of the value instead of being last in the value chain.
Right. Like traditionally, artists have been the last ones to get paid and earn income from their IP, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So I see two questions real quick that I guess the first is, how does the current ETH surge impact the cost of the PRS Fest membership? Well,
listen,
when the price goes up, the price of the membership also goes up because the underlying asset is what we refer to as Ethereum. It's the protocol. It's the trust protocol. It's where we verify that NFT. And yeah, so yes, it is going up, which is good. But more importantly than price is the utility of the PRS Fest NFT. And that is that when you buy that NFT, that subsidizes a cell phone for someone who can connect in a vulnerable community or a vulnerable circumstance during a time of crisis, during a time of, if there's storms, hurricanes, earthquakes, and making sure that people are connected. Let's make sure that people are connected. And that's the main premise to the PRS Fest. Now the perks are Legs is giving you access to the festival. So those are the perks, but its purpose is for a social good application. Leg says he can join, but I can't speak.
Perfect. Will we be able to donate more as the price goes up? Is a question too that just happened.
Yeah. I think we've been having a conversation about this. I think all different type of people can purchase the NFT for a couple of reasons. There it goes, right? All right.
Hey, welcome.
Hey.
Welcome.
So what were you saying, Mr. Mo?
What was I saying?
Oh, you asked. He asked about the price. If the price goes up, can we donate more?
Yeah. So yes, you can always donate more. You can always purchase another NFT. That's the beauty of it, right? You can always get another NFT and hold it and use it and go, to the next best. And if you want to gift it to, a family or a friend down the road, you could do that too. which is cool. You can transfer these things to people who want to engage and go to the festival. But as long as every time they do that, it's doing something that's positive, and it's putting a smart device in a young person's hand to communicate, to stay connected to the internet, right? There's a lot of good in that, and that's so. Don't get one, get two.
and by doing that, we're basically bridging the digital divide, right? Because
That's the main purpose.
The main purpose, because Puerto Rico right now, we keep reiterating this this point. Like, a lot of crypto people have moved to Puerto Rico and have gained a lot of the advantages, the tax advantages, and the islanders are upset because by doing that, the property prices have gone up, and we believe that we should educate our fellow Puerto Ricans on crypto so they could utilize it and benefit as well from the technology, correct?
Yeah. I mean, that's the the main purpose of doing these Monday Mints is for us to have that conversation as a community, to understand the impact that this technology is going to have in different businesses, different industries, and I think it's an opportunity also for Puerto Rico to begin to adopt some of these technologies and build its own economy on this software using smart contracts. That's a major disruption, right? Because we know, the history of holding that debt doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. So introducing these new technologies, allowing for young people to use NFTs to interact. They're already doing it in gaming. And here's a number, a little data. There's 3.5 billion people on Earth that play video games. Gaming is the most. It's bigger than films and music and every other genre combined. And in some of these games, they buy virtual goods, so skins, right? So things like, they're already trading those things. And NFTs are exactly that, right? So NFTs are this, again, a non-fungible token, a terrible name that they gave. But the premise of an NFT is as a verification system. It's to verify that you are the owner or are in control or hold a scarce, unique asset that is on the internet. That's what was game-changing from the Satoshi Nakamoto white paper when he wrote Bitcoin. The underlying the application for Bitcoin is a peer-to-peer payment system as a currency, but the operating system that drives that is referred to as the blockchain. Now, why is the blockchain technology important? Mainly because it solves one problem. It solves the ability to identify a scarce digital asset. That is incredible. That's a breakthrough technology. This is a technology that is becoming part of the infrastructure of the internet now. So these are more secure networks. The way the infrastructure work is not through a centralized, where there's one computer kind of controlling everything. Right? It's distributed, it's decentralized, so it's a much more efficient operating system. It's an elegant solution to creating scarcity on the internet, and on top of that, I also refer to blockchains as trust protocols. We don't have to trust each other. But we
don't even have to know each other. Yeah.
And the same way that you can go to a marketplace at a farmer's market and pay $20 for a bag of tomatoes or fruits or whatever you're buying, that's the same way that you can interact. Now, important to also understand that we have to build a world that when we are gaining these digital assets, and these digital assets can represent different things. They can represent music and art and culture, but they can also represent real estate properties, fractionalizing into businesses, right? for entrepreneurs out there who have a business and who's trying to go through that process, learn about NFTs, read the stories, look at what applications you can use in your business, whether you want to try and maybe raise money as a crowdfunding concept that you have. Maybe you have an invention. Maybe you have a patent. Maybe you want to fractionalize that patent. Maybe you are an aspiring, realtor who wants to build a portfolio of real estate properties, and you can do this with NFTs and a community. Right? There's so many different ways, and I think that we have to have that conversation and talk about other stories, but also talk about different possibilities and get
Awesome.
people to start thinking about this thing on a deeper level.
Hey, if anybody wants to ask a question, please ask a question. And before we move on, we always say this, we got to give props to Legs for having the vision and definitely the vision to jump into this technology and doing the social good that he's been doing. So props to Legs for doing that, and having that vision.
The new backspin.
The new backspin. Hell yeah. So Audrey, let's talk about some news, like some NFT news.
Yeah, so okay, I think that one of the highlights, we haven't gone over the new stuff with Disney and Polygon yet.
Yeah.
So that's one of the highlights that we want to touch on tonight or this week, to understand a little bit about what is that? What is Polygon? What does it mean that something as big as Disney's a cornerstone of the entertainment industry and has been for years and years and years, right? So what does it look like now that Disney is linking up with Polygon to enter into the blockchain? Yeah, Mo, go ahead.
Yeah, so this was a recent announcement that the Walt Disney Company, which, by the way, is going to be celebrating its 100th year anniversary, is coming up. So this is 100 years of Walt Disney, the first creator economy in the modern age, right? From this character, this animation, and it evolved into an entire kingdom, right? A theme park, all the different assets now, streaming, Disney Plus, right? They jumped into the game, and how they continue to still be connected to culture around the world. Their content also, I will say, throughout the years has become more diversified, which is good, but we want to see more, of course. We want to see more people of color on the screens and inside of these new projects also, which means we want to see them in Web3 and in NFTs. And that's why I think the coup story of landing on the Times magazine is it's a great reflection of that, right? This is a different type of character. So Polygon is the blockchain that they chose. And one of the reasons is because Polygon has already achieved something early on that many blockchains haven't. And that is that for Polygon has become carbon neutral. So for the folks who say that NFTs are bad for the earth, the reality is that these NFTs are much more efficient, that run on these networks or these protocols, and Disney recognizes that because it aligns with its values. Also, they're trying to make sure that they can reduce emission, and this speaks to, again, these are social good applications, and these are things that I believe also that PRS NFTs are also going to address, right? We can address some of the carbon neutral that's happening in the world and do good there also use NFTs for that purpose. So, but for creators, for artists, this is a new sandbox. If you're building NFT collections, whether they're art, music, or film, or some type of game, or filter, AR, VR, Instagram filter, that you can build some of these things using Polygon. And these are things that Disney recognizes, that the content creators of the future that are coming, the next Disneys of the world, they want to interact with them. So if they're building these things on the Disney sandbox, that's a great opportunity. It's really a great opportunity, and again, another signal that a conglomerate at this point, like Disney, it's a brand that everyone recognizes, is jumping into the blockchain space, saying NFTs are the future. We should be, absolutely embrace that, and have more people playing in that sandbox.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I say real quick on that. So those of us who are filmmakers not on the Disney lot, or in that sphere of major networks or major studio pictures, but let's talk about like independent films and smaller budget projects, docuseries, documentaries. As an actor producer, I'm looking at what is it going to look like for the future of film structuring, and how is it different to put out an NFT maybe about a movie versus making an NFT for myself as an artist, and what does it look like it's more like, for those of you who are familiar with Patreon, you're investing in the artist and all of their projects versus the project itself that no one may have heard of yet. So, because it always comes back down to community and marketing, right? So on a smaller scale than Disney, looking at NFTs as a filmmaker and a creative, it's exciting to be able to think about other ways to make investing in films less risky and more of a community project. And then how do we get those how does it become more of a accessible, exchangeable creator currency? We've been talking about creator equity or creator currency, right, Mo?
Yeah, creator economies. Let's do this as an example, and I think it'll help give some context. So the rise of social media gave creation to the influencers, right? So these are people that activate large followings on social media platforms, and most of the value that they're creating doesn't go to them. It goes to the network.
Correct.
In a environment where you're communicating with communities or like-minded people, you're aligning yourself with people that you have more in common with their values and their beliefs. And the reality is we invest in things that we're culturally connected to. So all you're doing is, you don't need 1 million people. You just need 100 people, and 100 people could come together to achieve your objective. If there's a specific narrative that you want to tell, say as a documentary, absolutely, that's something that is available today. So how do you create those communities? You use the platforms now like Discords and Telegrams and Slacks. And that way you're curating your community as well. And when you can curate your community, you're coming together. And I think Leg jumped off here, so he'll be back.
Yeah.
So there's so many different ways that you can build. You can build your own creator economy as a personality, but you can also build. If you don't want to build around yourself, you can say, I want to build around an idea, a story, a narrative, a film, a book, or, you know, whichever way you want to express that.
Right.
What else?
Okay, we lost Legs for a second.
Yeah.
He'll be back.
He's gonna grab his bags.
So there's other news, right?
Yeah. So this is something I think everyone's gonna love.
This is exciting.
So Max reached out to me the other day, and he shared that Biggie's doing a drop. So Max, unpack that for us. Like, how's this?
So yeah, so everybody knows, of course, the legendary, notorious B.I.G. And there's a company, a platform out there called One Of, and they've partnered with his estate to do the first ever Biggie Smalls Notorious B.I.G. NFT drop on July 26th. And I think that's going to be a big NFT drop because so many people loved Big and, you know, respected what he did in his short time here. And this NFT is going to drop the 26th, and it's going to give the utility of it that we know of so far is going to be that you get access to the metaverse. It's called the Brook. So it's, I think, Brooklyn, right? So Brooklyn, and the people who own the NFT are going to, as a collective, be able to license a freestyle that they have, and they're going to come collectively to pick who they would license that out to. So if you're a Biggie Smalls fan, this is something that you definitely want to collect. I personally, I'm going to be all over this because I was a big fan, like I'm sure a lot of you guys were. And I also, you know, was lucky enough and to play a little small part in that whole Biggie movement, working on the videos, taking curses out of music videos. So I feel like I have a little connection with that project. I got to see all of the videos, the big first album videos before they dropped. So I kind of saw what was coming before the world saw it. So I feel really connected, but I think that this is going to bring a lot of attention to specifically music NFTs, because all the other types of NFTs, like the picture, the Bored Apes, all the PFPs, and those things have gained a lot of value and a lot of attention from the media. But I think this will definitely bring a lot of attention. And if you like Big and you think that this is going to be something that is going to be valuable, this is going to be an exciting drop for you as well. So I'm excited about it.
That's awesome.
And that's the first one, right?
That's the first ever Big drop. Yeah. Legs has a question there. See it?
He says, I recently signed with a clothing company. We're doing a capsule collection that I've been thinking about in terms of linking an NFT. So that would be like a sub to the PRS Fest membership.
Can an NFT be beneficial to a clothing line? Absolutely. You see the biggest brands jumping in. Mr. Mo, I'm going to send that over to you. Yeah.
Yeah, no question. So when we think of clothing, we think of brands, right? And when you think of brands like luxury, you're going to get the Gucci brands, right? And they're already using NFTs to already interact with their fans, their followers, and people who are into their brand. And absolutely, NFTs, people are going to want to look fly also in the metaverse. So I would imagine that, you know, there's an opportunity here to go a little bit further, right? So here's a question: could we see a FUBU in the metaverse in the future? And I think that, in my mind, those type of things are inevitable. These are new cycles. This technology has the ability to build all different type of brands. Because remember, it's not money that keeps us in common. It's the culture. It's culture, no matter what. And I think NFTs are a great store of culture, right? And how we value culture, right? So there's the gaming culture, there's the baseball culture, right? There's all different type of cultures. There's collectors, all different type. And this is just a unique way to bring them together to interact, but you being in control and having ownership of your digital assets. If you do not hold your keys or your tokens, you do not control your assets. And that's the other thing that we'll get into as the series evolves, going
Right.
the importance of ownership. This is a new financial literacy language also, but it's a way for us, I think, to make sure that
Ownership.
is ownership. This is about ownership, guys. Make no mistake. If you can own things in the physical, then why can't we do that in this digital? So that requires us to move away from centralized and move to decentralized.
And our digital identities every day are becoming more and more important every day. Some might say it's even more important than your physical identity, right? Because some people basically live in the metaverse already. Like they have a character that they put on, right? Or their digital self, they portray something online, right? So it's just a continuation of that. And in the metaverse, you got to look fly, right? You got to look fly in the metaverse. So all the ownership part of it is going to be very important. Somebody asked, do NFTs need trademarks or copyrights? We answered this last week, but Mr. Mo, briefly explain that one more time.
Yeah, so it's more important that your artistic expression have a copyright. So if you write a song, yes, you should have a copyright, because a copyright and a trademark is the only thing that is enforceable in a court of law. So if you have a intellectual property that you created, then yeah, absolutely take the opportunity to trademark it and copyright it, and then make that available through an NFT. And but are they required? No. Do you need it? Protect your IP.
Copyright, trademark, do it.
Unless you're doing it as a Creative Commons. In other words, you created a piece of art or some type of content, and you want anybody to interact with that. So here's the other side of that. So say I made a drum loop, and I want anybody to remix it or interact with it or drop a vocal on that. I'm okay with that.
Right.
Those are different applications. Maybe I want to go viral. Right? There's different ways to, and I think probably you'll see both. You'll see people trying both things. All right, this stuff I'm gonna make sure that I make it free, available, that allow people to interact with it. But this stuff they should understand. If they want to use it, then maybe they can buy the license as an NFT.
Hey, Audrey, Ms. Leg says, can you invite the Web3attorney.eth to the live?
Looking for you now. So what? We
Legs was asking, could a dance company fund themselves with an NFT? Absolutely. Yeah,
absolutely.
I think the easy way to think of this is you could pre-sale a show. And the way that you would do that is give me a 2-minute video and show me what kind of show. Like, get me excited enough to say, yeah, that's pretty cool. You could I'd buy an NFT for something like that. That is again, this is a different form of expression.
Hello.
Hey, welcome.
Hey everyone. Thank
Hi.
you. I was not expecting to go live right now.
It's okay. This is a casual conversation of casual futuristic conversation. Monday Mints #3, and we're happy to have you jump in.
Introduce yourself.
Oh, well, hi everyone. My name is Elizabeth. I'm from Puerto Rico. Right now living in California. I'm an attorney, licensed in multiple jurisdictions, and now focus a lot on Web3 law, and everything that entails. you know, the law and this technology revolution that's going on.
Awesome.
That's right. That's right. I love the fact that you chose that word, because that's exactly it. I think, you know, it's a revolution and a renaissance for creative people. I mean, this is like using the signature at the end of the name, and that is just a software, and your signature is the verification on blockchain that authenticates, you know, it is coming from you and you alone, and it's a trust protocol. There's no intermediaries in the transaction, and it's censorship resistant. So if you're saying something no one doesn't agree with, you cannot be censored. So as again, communication, you know, the Supreme Court says, and correct me if I'm wrong, that speech is money. So
That's why you gotta protect it. I heard you talking about IP. That's huge. That's so important. And we're in the era of ownership, I think, with Web3. Like, we're all able to own our own, you know, IP and monetize it. It's one of a kind opportunity. So we just gotta take advantage of it and protect it.
absolutely. What's calling your ear today in terms of stories in the market? What's getting you excited about the market, or what has you concerned about the market?
I think the concern is already getting cleaned up a little bit. We're going into this bear market that is cleaning out a lot of these cash grabbers. All these people are not here for the right intentions to build, but obviously that's the good side of everything. Like, it's a time to build. People are building amazing things, amazing platforms, amazing projects with great utility that I believe are gonna stay here forever, whether it is private or whether we integrate NFTs into our government and daily use. So I think we're just at the perfect time of this like evolution of technology. So just happy to be able to be here at this time.
I'm so happy to see Latinos in this space. Like, when you came on, I was like, oh wow, she's
Yeah.
that's awesome. And I think that's what we need more of. We need to make sure that our people understand what's happening in this space. It's super early, and now's the time to get on board and educate yourself. Financial literacy is super important, and that's something that PRS is very passionate about. So I'm happy that it, you know, you're the Web3 attorney. I love that.
Yeah, I love it. I love what Crazy Lights is doing with this project. Like, you know, that he has all my support. And we're trying to bring this, you know, not only talking like we are right now in English, but also having conversations in Spanish with our community and our local communities, but also in the space, whether it is doing Twitter spaces, Instagram lives like this. Like, this is huge. You know, we got to bring this to our people and, you know, have them have that access as well to become a part of it.
Yeah, and one of the things I was going to say is we create culture. We create culture. So it's up to us to make sure that we also benefit from the culture. Because before, like Mr. Mo was saying earlier, creators were the last on the totem pole when it came to monetizing. And hopefully now with ownership and NFT and Web3, that can change. So thank you again for being here. That's awesome.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
So I have a question now that we have an attorney in our community. What can you share with us in terms of what you think or how you think the law is approaching governance, regulation, and some of the challenges? I remember early days of .com era where government was very much against it. They believed that the internet would just be used for bad actors. And I think the reality is 20 years later, the reality is the internet has provided a lot of value for human beings on earth, communicating and lifting people out of poverty and being this, you know, this massive telephone that we communicate with and we open up with. And we see the technology evolve, you know, the data tells a story, right? We know now that YouTube is like you know, that is pretty much bringing up almost an entire generation, a culture. You can learn how to fix the refrigerator in 5 minutes in YouTube, right? And that's also disrupting education. But I'm interested in your view of like the framework, the regulation, because in my mind, the internet, the protocol, it has no borders.
It doesn't, and that's what we're seeing right now. We see some sort of division, right? Because some people want full decentralization, some people want some sort of regulation. So I think the government is trying to figure out, you know, what will be that happy medium. And, you know, as in terms of the law, it's playing catch up. Like you said, with the .com era, like the law is still being made for things like as common as drones. Like we've had drones for how long, and they're still trying to make law about it. You know, what's the height that they could be, you know, in the property, things like that. And how many years ago were drones like included in the market? So I think it's going to be a long process, but it's happening. Like we're seeing now in the UK, I believe there's one case already in the US where, you know, the parties were served through the blockchain. It was literally airdropped to their wallet. And this is like super revolutionary because you're not only cutting down middleman, like having a process server, you're cutting down costs, time, all kinds of things. So I think all this in industry, whether it is legal, the tax, like whatever it may be, they're going to be benefited by it. It's just in terms of us, you know, speaking up, showing what this positive impact could be, and, you know, help our legislators, you know, have that, you know, have our back in that sense, because some people are going to be for it, some people are going to be against it. One big thing I saw recently is like they're trying to make legislation where, you know, politicians can't make decisions regarding crypto if they own crypto. I'm like, so you're trying to have people that don't understand the blockchain, don't understand this space regulated? Like that makes no sense. So we got to speak up. This is the moment to, you know, make those precedents, make that law, and, you know, always be watching out for those cases that are active right now. A lot of lawsuits are happening right now to figure it out. So it's just a matter of time, but this is here to stay.
Awesome.
That's awesome. That's great.
Fantastic.
So,
How are we on time?
we have time?
We have a little more time. Yeah, we have about 10 minutes before we hit our hour, about 10:15. But we're welcoming questions. I don't want to put Elizabeth on the spot too much, but also we really appreciate her here to give us input and answer anything she feels comfortable with right now. Once again, this is Monday Mints with PRS Fest NFT membership. And Legs is jumping in. Comments, questions, welcome, and we're gonna be doing some more content available on our link tree so that it's a little bit more archived. If you missed any of the Monday Mints from the weeks previous, those are obviously available on Legs Instagram, and then we're gonna get those up on our link tree too so that you can keep up to date.
Awesome. Hey, we have another person that wants to jump on.
I can get out so they can come up.
Thank you so much.
We appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Kick me out because I don't know how to get out.
We got Stoke. It's STOKEDONICE. Stoked Nice. If you see that name on there.
Okay, STOKED.
ONICE. Bring him on for a second. He has some good insights
Here he comes.
on the crypto space.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining in. I'm trying to wave at everybody just so that they know that we appreciate.
And again, if anybody has questions, just ask away. Let's see. I'm looking through. I don't see any questions. I see a lot of people joining, which is dope. Yeah, just keep asking us some questions. Mr. Mo, what are you feeling overall right now about the market?
So
macro picture.
So a macro picture of the market. Let's see. So I have to zoom out all the way and take what's happening in the world. So right now we are going through this inflation, that's going on not only here in the United States, but around the world. And when that happens, of course, the cost of living and prices at the supermarket and everywhere go up. And that puts a lot of pressure on people with savings and just trying to keep up with things. So that is still something that I think we probably also to just kind of just consider this. When the pandemic happened in March of 2020, oil crashed and it crashed our markets. And when that happened, the response was to print a lot of money. So we printed so much money in a very short window. And the other thing to consider is this is the printing of both parties in politics, right? So this is just massive printing, and now we're feeling the effects of that. So what will happen is markets will come down while they go through their cool off, and when they go through that process, we will sometimes see the crypto market also come down also. So right now we're getting a relief pump because we've been going down and down and down. And markets usually find an area of consensus where they find support and say, we're just going to chill here for a moment. So things are just we're bouncing, but we're not in a bull run or anything like that. Right? The purpose of PRS is absolutely not to speculate. We are not financial advisors. We don't give any of that out. We can give opinions of what we think this technology can be used for and how it could be helpful for our communities, right? And for the content creators, the entrepreneurs that see value in using NFTs as a technology. Just the same way that 20 years ago, the people that saw value in using e-commerce, that changed their game. That changed the game, right? The people that embraced that technology early on, people laughed, but they got the last laugh. The Amazons of the world, nobody thought you could sell books over the internet in the early days, and today, reality.
Malcolm asked, is inflation negative, positive, or necessary, Mr. Mo? Good question, man. He's been asking some good questions. Thanks, bro.
And well, I mean, is it necessary? So let's take into consideration, what is the event that inspires Satoshi Nakamoto to write this white paper called Bitcoin, right? What is that event?
2008 housing crash that almost crashed the whole economy, that we had to bail out. The taxpayers had to bail it out.
Right?
Because of bad actors.
Yeah. So this is, and this is what gives birth to Bitcoin: the bad behavior, the printing of massive dollars, quantitative easing. But the reality is this: in order for us to get back to some form of equilibrium, inflation is, it's a natural part of it. We didn't create this. We were born into it. We have to deal with it. And the way we're dealing with it is saying, you know what? We want to find a different mechanism of exchange of value, because the currency wars that you guys have going on right now, I mean, it's very clear that we're deep inside a currency war. This is that puts a lot of pain on Latino and Black communities. We feel that. We absolutely feel that. So this is an alternative to, cryptocurrencies are a first step, but the next evolution, I think, is going to be NFTs. That's the way that people are going to express themselves. You'll have an NFT for the title of a home, for your car. It'll represent a security of a company or a stock. You could have it as a utility for a musician that is allowing you to share his royalties, right? You can use it for social good causes, right? If you have a PRS NFT in your wallet, that you're for solving the problem of the digital divide, and you understand that our generation has to remain connected, young people, you know, this is a great opportunity for us to start learning about the tech, share the stories, and come together as community to say, you know what, this is something that if we want change, this is something that you need to consider. This technology has that ability to be that disruptive, and I think it's going to disrupt every industry. It's going to disrupt everything from, you know, the traditional markets, securities, assets. Everything is going to get tokenized. Everything is going to get tokenized, I think, in a matter of time. Not overnight. It's not going to happen overnight. But this eventually is, it's the natural evolution for the next infrastructure of the internet. Owning digital assets. You have to have digital property rights. You have to have.
Before we go, Legs has one more question. Why does the digital divide even exist? I mean, me personally, we've always had a wealth gap, and this is no different, right? Some know, some don't. But can you give us some more insight on what you feel, Mr. Mo, is causing the digital divide?
I think, you know, we can sit here and talk about what is and there he goes right there. Welcome home.
I'm going to go on mute, everyone.
You know, I think there's many factors of that, but we know this: if you can't be connected to the world, if you cannot make a call during a crisis or a hurricane, that we know that's a huge problem. You got to be able to just communicate on a basic level. But I think also being connected to the internet and being connected with these new technologies, because what's going to happen is we're going to leapfrog the same way that we leapfrogged with. They didn't wait for bank branches in Africa. They leapfrogged with, you know, with all this new technology, smartphones, wallets. They're not waiting for the electric company. They're throwing up solar. The leapfrog there, right? They're not waiting for the phone companies. It's just out smartphones, right? And now satellite internet service that's rolling out. So being connected, you know, I think, like, if you can't get connected on a constant basis at this point, then how are you going to interact with these new economies in the Web3 space? These are new economies, so this is a pathway. And I think that what we have to do is just on simplifying solutions. We can just address the problem, because we can point the finger in different ways, right? There's many reasons, I think, but let's just solve it. Let's use NFTs. Let's use the event, the platform, inform community, and let's move towards solving that. Because here's what I think could happen. As more and more people get connected and they come into this Web3 space and they understand ownership and they understand that they can participate in new economies, right? So the example of the Philippines during the pandemic, right? We went into quarantine, and the way that many of these families were able to sustain themselves during that was playing this game called Axie Infinity, right? So you're playing this game and you're adding value because other people that are participating in that game and that like that game, that they can, you know, continue to pay to play that game. They're incentivized. So, and that created an $800 million economy for them. So the question is, that's just a game, but what happens when you do that with games? What happens when you do that with education, right? Take an application like the Modi app for a moment, right? When you look at the Modi app, which I think we're gonna have on coming episode in the future, this is an application that allows you to interact and to actually have like a Zoom or a session to do either a consultation or a master class, and to be able to monetize that. Like, we need more technologies like that. And so I think as we want to make sure that our communities are going to be connected into the Web3 economies. And here's another take. You know what the #1 market for jobs is right now? It's in the Web3 space.
There's a lot of jobs.
Job hiring now are all Web3 job spaces. So if that's something that you believe in and that you think that you can provide value there, whether you're a graphic designer, whether you're developing software or building an app or have a certain skill set, that's the opportunity for you to come in to the web space and just look at some of the listings. And part of the interesting part is that when we look at the qualifications, it no longer requires the master's degree from MIT.
No.
It requires creative people that have
Yep.
cool art portfolios, creating cool, different apps. And this is the other thing that I'm getting excited about is, like, as we go through this, and as PRS is going through its expansion, becoming this South by Southwest of Puerto Rico and the technology component, I'm really excited to see all the different projects that people are going to be working on, because you don't hear them at first, but when they start popping up in art, in music, or for another application, building new businesses, building new economies, that's going to be super exciting. That's going to be, I think, really, really, really dope for people that are understanding, how do we take culture? We need to be talking culture and tech and story and informing our communities and helping people to onboard, right? Here's another metric. There's 2 billion people on Earth that don't have banking services.
Right.
What happens when you give them wallet tokens and NFTs? That begins to change. So that leapfrog moment hasn't happened yet, but I think that when it does happen, I think it's going to be a positive. And that's not to say that this market won't grow without its growing pains and its hiccups. That's a natural part of innovation and evolution. We saw many companies go through that during the .com era, right? Some of them didn't come out, but I think what it shared with the world is the possibilities. That you can create a website, you can build these new platforms, right? You can become an influencer. You can it really unlocked all these new possibilities. So I think that's super exciting.
Real quick too, Mo, how many people are gaming? What's that number?
3.5 billion people play video games in some form.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah. It's a generation absolutely is connected to that. Yeah.
Yuri says, it requires proof of work, I guess, jobs. And the Web3 attorney says NFTs are coming to verify skills and knowledge. And I could definitely agree with that, because I took a course and I received for that course NFT stating that I completed the course. So education is going to be, you're going to have NFTs verifying your skills and the things that and people are going to be able to look at it in a while and be like, oh yeah, he took that course. So instead of getting a diploma and putting it on the wall, you're going to get an NFT in your wallet that says you completed the course. And so that's pretty interesting to me as well, like how NFTs are going to be playing such a big part in our lives.
Especially when couples get into arguments and then someone breaks their diploma and they're trying to recover it.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
I think that it would also work with authentication for collectibles. Let's say people who collect baseball cards or anything like that. They're, certificates of authenticity are sometimes. I mean, you gotta keep it safe. And this, I think this will put the safe business out of business eventually.
The
You know
what
that
business?
this safe, so home safe, to put like certificates of authenticity, anything that's an important document, as you were saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
But like,
Elizabeth contributed that coming, none of them verified. So that
do you guys hear her?
No.
Yeah, we lost you for a moment.
Say it again, Audrey.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we got you now.
Okay. I was just restating what Elizabeth said in comments, that NFTs are coming to verify skills and knowledge. So
Yeah, skills and knowledge. That and here's the thing, that there's certain skills and knowledge that you gain that are not taught in many of the colleges and educational institutions. You can learn from someone else. Soulbound tokens and these are new forms of applications for education, for verifying, knowledge and skill sets. But the other application, I wanted to share, I was working on a project where NFTs were exploring NFTs for scholarships, exploring NFTs for diplomas, for all different applications for the education industry. And I think education is on the verge of like major disruption,
Yeah.
and we're probably going to see that in the next couple of years unfold, where some of the education institutions are going to be under a lot of pressure because education also is moving online, and also I think people understand that there's other ways to inform and educate young people today. Of course, the concern is always we don't want a child to be disconnected from society and culture, have a very rich interaction, social interaction. We want to make sure of that, yes. But I think, the way learning is going to go down is going to be very different.
Absolutely.
Very different.
Absolutely. Ding Dong Dazzle says, I believe humans are extremely selfish and it makes them less likely to learn new things. It would take a while for people to reprogram their mind to embrace new tech and software. I totally agree.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, those people will fall behind if they don't keep up. We all have to learn every day new things.
Yeah.
This whole space is a whole new learning platform.
Right.
That we're all learning right now.
This is why we're doing what we're doing now, to be able to engage with them and inspire them. And look, I'm not the person that's well versed in this at all, but I know that I recognize it as a future. And us doing this on my platform, the PRS platform, and your platform, hopefully it continues to bring all of us together and bridge that gap.
Yeah, awesome.
I think that's a main point. And just to build off of that comment, yes, and that's why I think these new economies are coming out, where it's designed to incentivize a person, right? So play to earn, learn to earn, move to earn is a new application that's being used and being explored by tech companies, right? So these are opportunities that if you are involved in one of these new economies, you are incentivized. And I think that's the game changer there. Now, if you're not incentivized, then that's much harder, yes. But I would say that's the opportunity there. And if people are not taking advantage of it, then maybe they need to, just take a pause and understand that the time that you put in is valuable. Your time is valuable.
Right.
I think we lost Max. There he goes.
And speaking of time, we're about at our time for tonight. So please leave your comments on live in the PRS Instagram account. Be up there and viewable, the archive. We want to hear from you too. What are questions and conversations that you want to hear in this discussion on Monday nights? Because we want to make sure that this is a listening to the community, like always says, by the people, for the people. And I really appreciate Elizabeth coming on and for everything that she's doing in English and in Spanish. And we want to make sure that everybody feels that they have access to this education. So thank you all so much.
Hey, don't forget to meet us at the Discord, the PRS Discord community. We're going to be sharing some knowledge there, sharing this video if you want to share it with somebody else, and just building up that community so we could all stay in touch with each other and learn, because it's important.
Yeah.
This is so crazy doing this while I'm trying to get off the plane. Thank you to
Cool.
everyone.
It's all good, baby. We got you.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys holding it down. I mean, I usually just listen anyway, but hey, thank you. Thanks again. Thanks to everyone listening. We appreciate you guys. And hey, if you can, go to OpenSea and look up PRS Fest membership and get a membership, because the price is already going up because of the
market.
Little pump we got right now in the market. So yeah, that's it. That's all I gotta say.
Good night, guys.
Thank you, everybody. Talk to you soon.